All right, hey guys, OFD checking in here, and today we have a watch from a company I'm not really familiar with. It's Timeless Watch Company. This is a Swiss company, and they are from the Swiss Riviera, which is the north shores of Lake Geneva. So very cool, or Geneve, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but very cool looking watch. I like what they've done here now. I know we like dive watches here on the channel and sports style watches, but this is a really neat watch, and I love some of the highlights of it. This watch was recently on the Marshall Time channel. I'll leave a link down below in the description to his video on that watch also, but really, really nice. So let's talk about the size of the watch first. You have a 42 millimeter case from side to side, excuse me guys, 46.5 lug tip to lug tip. Comes in at a nice svelte 12 millimeters of thickness, including the dome sapphire crystal on the watch, and you have 22 millimeter lug openings. Now, the way the watch is put together is very interesting. There's two versions of this watch. Actually, on the badge here on this side, you can see this is the HMS number 2. Now, HMS generally stands for Her Majesty's Ship, so I'm not quite sure. I went into their website. I don't see any story in there as to why they're using that, the HMS 002, but it's a cool looking watch. I do like that badge on the side of it. But a lot of the characteristics of the watch kind of harken to ships, and as we look at the watch, we'll kind of talk a little bit more about it. I'll bring it up here closer so we can take a look at the dial. Now, the dial, the center part of the dial, as you guys can see, has that beautiful guillot-shaped pattern, which is very, very nice and lets those hands stand out quite nicely against that pattern. You do have a nice chapter ring here with the big Arabic numerals, and then you have almost a smaller railroad track style for your 60 seconds here around the outside of your minutes there. Very nicely done. Talking about the things that kind of remind you of a ship, first of all, this date window down here, almost like a portal, almost looks like it has its own separate little glass piece over the top of it, as you guys can see there. And then if you look at the center portion of the dial where you do have some exposed portion of the movement, it almost looks like the screw on a ship. And that's what it reminds me of. You'll see that carried through to the crown, also to the case back of the watch. So nicely put together piece. Leather strap on this watch, very nicely done. I love the way this brushed finish leads to these kind of brass gussets here on the case itself, almost like it's welded on there. These are a false wire style kind of lug, not a fully wire style lug, but that is the basic idea here. Almost like these have been brazed is what that looks like. Almost like they've been brazed to the case here, as you would have done back in the old days with your round pocket watches. Talking about the crown and the design, there again, you can see that screw carried over. That'd be a ship's screw or a ship's prop, what I believe to be carried over. This is a three-piece crown, so you have this outer portion here, you have the stainless steel portion, and then you actually have the rose gold. Now, this isn't brass. From what I understand, this is actually rose gold here on the case, on there, and I do believe probably on the hands, possibly also. Flip it over and take a look at the case back. You can see that screw is again carried over to the case back on the watch, and it looks really, really cool. Also lets you know, Timeless, that this is a automatic watch running the STP 111. That's a 26 joule movement with 44 hours of power reserve, so it's going to get the job done. Very nice, and you have 50 meters of water resistance with this watch. Also, with this case back removal, almost kind of reminds me of a portal style. So let's go ahead and throw this watch on my 7-inch wrist. We're not going to do a lume shot because this watch doesn't have any lume on it, but definitely stick around for the wrist shot. All right, so here's the watch on my 7-inch wrist. With a 42 millimeter case like this, they tend to fit my wrist fairly well, and I like the wire style lugs on this watch. Wears well. It's nice and refreshing in a world of all of the sports watches and dive watches we see out there to see neat things coming out of Switzerland like this. Now, I do believe these are around $1,400 a CHF. I don't know what the conversion is on that, but I do believe it's quite a pricey watch. Very limited numbers of these. Each one of them, from what I understand, is going to be a numbered edition of the watches. Not sure how many they're going to make in each of the dial colorways. There is a 001 and a 002. The difference is this one has the black chapter ring. The 001 has a white chapter ring. So that's the big difference. So, all right, guys, you like the video, give me a thumbs up down there at the bottom. And if you've not subscribed to the OFD channel yet, please do. Please do. Thanks, guys.